This is Jeff, our Chief of Design. And Jeff and the team have done just an incredible job of being the driving force behind our products. We've been working together since well before the R1, so it is so amazing, Jeff, to see this, and to you and the team, amazing work.
Thank you.
So it is so awesome to show this. I've been waiting for this for a while. And there's a lot to talk about here. The vehicle combines capability, performance, utility, storage, functionality in a way that we think just really fits right into a huge customer need and a huge need within the market. The vehicle size, the vehicle capability really has been optimized around enabling, as I said, and inspiring all those adventures. And so we're going to walk through the vehicle, but just starting here at the front. In the front of the vehicle, we have a large front storage trunk. For those that are familiar with R1, of course, this should be very relatable. But this is great for putting luggage, backpacks, your gear. It's one of the most used storage areas of our R1 vehicle. We get to see the data on how all of our owners are using it. But it is just an awesome setup. And of course, this also serves to support a lot of the front safety in the vehicle in terms of the crash structure that you saw in those R1 videos. Now, if we go around the side of the vehicle, it's hard to see without sitting in it, but so much effort has gone into making sure the packaging, not just in the front row, but also in the second row, creates this really airy, really comfortable, really spacious experience. Something that really is world class. There's nothing quite like it in this size of vehicle where you get in and you feel so comfortable and it feels so inviting. And we're going to take a look at the interior in a second. But first, just walk around the back. We did a lot of work to create something that builds a really open-air experience. And you just saw, or maybe you saw, these quarter windows pop out. And what that does is we leverage the negative pressure off the back of the vehicle to pull natural air through. And it creates this beautiful open-air feeling experience. And then the rear glass, which you just saw drop, also opens. And now the rear glass opening, it literally feels like an open air experience. But this gives you an ability to put you can put surfboards, you can put longer gear, and as you just saw, the second row seats fold flat, but also the first row seats fold flat. And the first row seats folding flat, that gives you, when if you're driving the vehicle, you can put long things in very easily. But if you're not driving the vehicle, let's say you're camping or staying overnight in the vehicle, it creates this awesome in-vehicle camping experience with an inflatable mattress. So walking around here to the side, you're thinking to yourself, well, how does the vehicle size? You're probably looking at me. I'm about 6'1", trying to figure out how does this compare to an R1. Well, we'll tell you, it's about 400 millimeters shorter than an R1S. And in addition to being shorter, it's quite a bit shorter in wheelbase. It's also lower in height. And it fits into any garage. It fits into tight spaces, really maneuverable. But to look at it in a driving environment is really helpful. So we'll show you it here next to an R1S. It looks awesome. It looks really like, just two family members out for a stroll. I love that. So let's take a look at the inside. And when we think about the design of an interior of the vehicle, a lot of that ties to just what's in the materials, what's in the packaging, what does it make you feel? What's that environment feel like? And so we spent a lot of time working through those materials and the overall packaging to create an experience that is as inviting as one could imagine. And we have a lot of feedback from R1. And one of the points of feedback was a desire for a glove box. And we had lots of reasons to not have one. But on R2, we over-delivered, and we put 2 glove boxes in. The other thing, there's lots to see here, but one of the things that's so exciting is the way we've looked at the controls. And we have these really nice large wheels and the scroll wheels and the steering wheel, there's dynamic haptic feedback. So it allows us to adjust what it's feeling like when you're scrolling, and it's magical. It takes our existing scroll wheel and really up levels it to a degree that's hard to fully appreciate unless you're sitting in the car. Now, jumping back out, a lot of work went into the doors. Move the speaker out of the door, gives us space for a large water bottle here. And of course, it wouldn't be a Rivian if we have a flashlight in the door. So, really love that. Super handy. So now, how does this set up in terms of how it functions? And we built an entirely new platform to underpin this vehicle. A lot of work went into driving manufacturing cost efficiency. And it's built around a 4695 cell. So it's a cylindrical cell, 46 millimeters in diameter, 95 millimeters tall. It's a much larger cell than the 21 millimeter diameter cell that we have in R1 today. And that cell's integrated into a highly structural battery pack. So the battery pack in the floor actually makes up a big part of the vehicle structure. The top of the battery pack is actually the floor of the vehicle. So a lot of these innovations that we're driving into how we build the vehicle are core to us making sure the price point can be really affordable. We'll get to that later. But from a drivetrain point of view, we have a single motor, rear-wheel drive variant. We have a dual motor, one motor in the front, one motor in the back, all-wheel drive variant. And then we have a tri-motor, two motors in the back, one in the front. And in the highest performance variants of the vehicle, 0 to 60 in well under 3 seconds. Yeah, so it's very quick. And then all those motor combinations can achieve over 300 miles in range. So much of what a Rivian is capturing the dynamics of the vehicle. And we needed to make sure that all the decisions we made in the aggregate, the suspension, the drivetrain, the battery positioning, the packaging of the vehicle, delivered something that drove like nothing else. Something that was exciting on-road, something that was incredibly capable off-road, but had the everyday refinement and usability to work if you're parking it in San Francisco or driving it in New York. And so that focus on dynamics is so embedded in our culture as an organization and embedded, of course, into our products. Now, we talked about the vertically integrated electronics we built that enable this amazing software platform that we've seen in R1. We take that even further in R2. We talked about how the packaging and the design of the structure allows us to achieve really amazing, amazing manufacturability. But we've also focused a lot on sensors and the compute in our vehicle. And this has 11 cameras, 5 radars, 4 radars in the corner, 1 long-range radar in the front, which we couple with our new, much higher compute platform, which will enable this to have a very high level of self-driving. And for us, that represents being able to get on the highway, take your hands off the wheel, eyes off the road, and truly operate it where you get your time back. And that's, to our self-driving team, we're really excited about what this vehicle represents for us. Now, I do want to talk just a bit about how we've laid out the manufacturing system here. And I talked before about battery pack, but every single decision in a vehicle, and I say this a lot, you look at a vehicle in the aggregate like this, and it looks like, maybe there was a few thousand decisions. There's millions of decisions that have to be made across thousands of engineers. And those thousands of engineers making those collectively millions of decisions, we're incredibly focused on ensuring every one of those is not only optimizing for what the ownership experience will be, but optimizing our ability to make this very affordable and very accessible. And so the R2 starting price will be $45,000. And you can reserve one starting today.
Already got mine!
Yes! I love that. I'm so excited about this vehicle. I'm so excited about what it represents for us as a company in terms of achieving scale, what it represents for us in terms of our collective learning, being embodied into one vehicle as the, the follow product to what we did with our flagship product with R1. But it's important to note, R2 represents not just a vehicle, but it also represents a platform. And that platform, as I said, the performance, the capabilities, but also the flexibility from a manufacturing point of view is really important for us. And I'm really, really excited to talk about R2's sibling, which we call R3. So you didn't expect that one more thing here. So R3 is, we're so excited about what this sort of delivers beyond what we see in R2. It takes the package of R2 and the platform, it shrinks it, it puts it into our take on what is a crossover. And it's a vehicle that's almost hard to define what it is, but it so beautifully captures our brand, it captures what we represent as a company. It's dynamically incredible, the shorter wheelbase, the tighter dimensions, really enable it to be something that's maneuverable and drivable. But as tidy as it is on dimensions on the outside, we've put so much effort into making sure that the inside feels big. And much like we saw on R2, there's a lot of work that went into everything that you see in the rear of the vehicle, the occupant areas in the front of the vehicle. But this is all enabled by the platform. And it's about 5 inches shorter, 135 millimeters shorter than what you see in R2 in terms of wheelbase, but leveraging all that same content. So the single motor, the dual motor, and a tri-motor, the beautiful battery pack built around a larger format cell, our network architecture. Really excited about that. Oh, hello. So up front, we have a front storage trunk, much like what we had in R2. And that storage area of the vehicle, you can use to throw all your gear, your bags, and something like this. Wonderful for that everyday urban usability, adventure usability. But I want to spend some time in the back. And we spent so much time as a team thinking about working on how do we create a unique closure experience in the back. And what you just saw happen is the rear liftgate came up. Just like we saw in R2, the first and the second row seats fold flat. So it creates an opportunity for in-car camping, or it creates an opportunity to carry your long gear. But when we close this, there's a second way to get to the back, which we call our flipper glass. And what I love about this is it makes it easy to get things in and out, but this actuation can actually go to multiple heights. So if you're carrying something that's longer, that could be a surfboard, it could be stuffed animals, it could be a trombone. You can adjust the height here, and it's a user setting to make it really easy to carry those bigger objects or bigger things around. And as I said, everything as we thought about this vehicle was around making a smaller car feel really big. Now, looking at the interior, a lot of what we saw on the on the R2 carries over here. So the use of materials, the way we think about the sustainability of those materials, how durable they are, and really embodying that Rivian feel is driven into this. And I wish you could all sit in the car right now. But same thing we had with our R2 with the control wheels and a steering wheel. Lots of flexibility in terms of storage, 2 glove boxes, and of course, we still have a flashlight here. Now, we talked about platform flexibility. Hopefully you're seeing that here between R2 and R3. The ability for these two vehicles with really common family genes. You can feel their siblings. They look like the Rivians. They feel like the Rivians. Unfortunately, you can't all drive them to say they drive like the Rivians, but I can guarantee they do. But there's one more thing. One more thing. And looking at R3, we wanted to take everything that's embodied and put it into an even higher performance package. And this is something we call R3X. Thank you, Max. I mean, this is just so cool. This is the vehicle. When we walk around in the studio, everybody sees it and they're like, "Oh, I want that so bad." And I think that happens for anybody that sees it. But this captures, as you can see, R3, but pulls a level of deep performance capability into it. And there's lots of subtle differences. It's a wider wheel and tire, a little wider stance, more ground clearance, tri-motor setup, and a focus on really taking the capabilities of what Rivian represents and really flexing that and really showing that. And a small car, smaller crossover, delivering a level of on and off-road performance that will get us all very excited. And what you can't see, and I want to show, is the interior on the vehicle is just beautifully laid out. We had a chance to really stretch ourselves. This is an interior combination we internally call rugged playful, because it looks rugged and it looks playful. But the use of materials and the use of how we laid out those materials with cork and with interesting weaves and interesting ways to anodize metal, it feels so uniquely Rivian, but also so unique to this vehicle and to the performance variant. Now, as we think about this portfolio of vehicles, R2, R3, R3X. I can see from the room, everyone is excited. We are so excited. These represent our future. These represent what we've been building to, the brand that we established with the R1 products and positioning Rivian to take that further and make that more accessible to more people. And we've been working hard to find ways to pull the timing on these programs forward, to get them to as many people as possible, as quickly as possible. And with that, I'm excited to say that we're going to be pulling the timing in to allow R2 to start deliveries in the first half of 2026. And we're able to do that. We're able to achieve that accelerated timing by leveraging our production capabilities in Normal. Using our Illinois site to launch R2 and get that into market as quickly as we can. Now, our Georgia site remains really important to us. It's core to the scaling across all these vehicles between R2, R3, R3X, and we're so appreciative of all the partnership we've had there. But being able to leverage the team, the skill, the passion we have in our Illinois facility to get that into the market, to get that to customers, some of those orders I heard over there, as quickly as possible, we are just ecstatic about. Now, hopefully you see, when we look at our products, when we look at R2, when we look at R3, when we look at R3X, every decision, as I said, ties to making sure these vehicles enable and inspire the kinds of things we want to take photographs of, the kinds of things we want to remember 20 years from now, 30 years from now. And so we've also developed a set of accessories that sit on these products. Yes. that link to making and building those memories. So we have a tent that's so beautifully integrated that goes onto the top of R2 or R3. We have bike racks that make the use of bikes really easy. We want all of our vehicles to be the easiest vehicle to go biking with. And we have a really clever way to think about a kitchen and rear storage plugging into our storage ports in the back of the vehicle. But ultimately, we as a company, we as Rivian, we exist to not only help transition a world away from combustion fuels and into electrification, we exist to help generate amazing memories in the process of doing so. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us today to hear about our future. We couldn't be more excited.